According to an article in the Huffington Post, drug overdoses are killing more people in a year than guns in car accidents. In 2010, drugs were responsible for 38,329 deaths. This is 105 deaths each day. The number compared to car accidents and guns is high. In 2010, the average amount of people who died in car accidents was 33,687. An even lower number is the number of people who were killed by guns in 2010, which was only 31,672. I find it crazy that with all the bad drivers out there and the bad violence, that the amount of people dying from overdose is higher than the amount of guns in cars. Some of these people who overdose on drugs are new to the drug world, and some are simply junkies that took too much. Some might think that those who overdose are being intentional about it, that it might be an easy way out. However, only 30,006 of these deaths were unintentional. All of these deaths were unintentional. I feel sorry for the people who have suffered with drug problems. They might have found drugs as an easy way to escape the lives they are living. Drugs are ruining people's lives, not just the abuser, but the people around them. Today I'm going to talk to you about the drugs that affect people mentally and physically, how drug abuse affects the family of the abuser, and how and where drug users can get help. People are mostly hurting themselves by doing drugs. Drug users are putting a huge strain on their body and their mind by doing them. On the physical side, there are several things that the drug users are having to face when being addicted to drugs. Have you ever seen someone who is so skinny you wonder if they ever eat? When you see their face and they look like they're strung out, like they haven't slept in days. Then their teeth. They always look yellow and messy. I've seen pictures of my friends before and after drugs. They were always so healthy looking and happy. But when they get hooked on drugs, most of the time they are a whole different person. Not only is there a severe difference in physical appearance, there will also be a difference inside your body. When doing some drugs, you face the possibility of damaging your internal organs such as your liver, brain, throat, lungs, and stomach. These are huge internal organs that help keep you alive and healthy. When damaging these organs, it is almost impossible to fix later. There are also several diseases you can obtain from drug use. Most of these diseases come from sharing needles. When you share needles, you are at risk for hepatitis B and C, as well as HIV. These are infections that can kill you. With heroin being such a well-known drug nowadays, several people are struggling with these diseases every day. Aside from there being several physical effects from drugs, there are also several mental issues as well. Drug users can suffer with a lot of stress and depression while being on drugs. There are several different instances as well where you have mental issues while being on the drug itself. There are some drugs known as psychedelics. These types of drugs make you see things when you're not in your right mind. On these types of drugs, and you can do things that you might harm yourself or others. Since some drugs have a large impact on the brain, it makes us think differently. Some people on drugs turn to have things such as schizophrenia. Schizophrenia is a disorder that a person might have to deal with for the rest of their lives because of their drug abuse. These people are more likely to hear voices and think that people are trying to control them. There is also the case where when you're on drugs, you might suffer from mood disorder. This just proves that you don't know what drugs will do to you. They can totally change the person you are and used to be. Not only does being on drugs affect you, it also affects your family as well. Being a family or a friend of a drug user is very hard. I've seen several of my friends suffer from drug abuse, and it hurts me to watch them go through something like that. However, I have found from personal experience that you cannot stop someone from doing drugs on your own. They have to want to help themselves as well. It is hard enough to witness your friends on drugs, but when your family starts as well, it is even harder. I've noticed several of my cousins deal with their drug issues, and they have not wanted to fix themselves. They've been in and out of jail, kicked out of homes, and they have all been broke. All of this because they are addicted to drugs. I find it even worse that they have kids in their possession. One of my cousins had a child who was born with drugs in her system. I never thought growing up that my cousins would end up like this, and I'm glad I did not follow in their footsteps. I would not want to be doing to my future children what they are doing to theirs. This just proves how much problem drugs are. Some people are not even willing to give up their drug problems for their unborn child. I believe these people are very selfish and irresponsible. According to the National Institute on Drug Abuse, when you have someone in your family who is on drugs, they are very unreliable. They are more likely to steal money to buy drugs and lie so much more. How can you trust someone who has done something like that? I've seen that people in my family have no regard for the people around them. They are just hurting people in their family, and they do not care They're more concerned with getting high. Being drug-free is something everyone should want. There are several things that you can do to be drug-free. One thing you can do to be drug-free is go to rehab. There are several people in rehab who understand what you're going through and they want to help you. Rehab is designed to support drug users and make sure they know how to live a life without drugs. They help them change their lifestyles so they learn how to deal with their stressors so they aren't so fast to go back on drugs when rehab ends. Another way of supporting somebody is going to meetings. I have had several friends who used to be addicts and they also live by their meetings. They find them very helpful and they want to go to them every week so they can meet new people and experience their stories as well as them experience their own. They want to help people. They want to share their story in hopes that people will learn from it. I know I've learned a lot from them and I will never want to do drugs. Last, make sure you talk to your family. I've learned a lot from them and I know that a lot of people who are on drugs will learn a lot from their family and they will need their support so they will know that you want to get healthier and that you want to know they are on your side, not against you. Drugs have hurt so many people and we need to learn how to deal with them. I'm glad I got to talk to you today about the mental and physical health that drug users have, the effects it has on families, and how drug users can get help. Drugs are ruining people's lives, not just the abuser, but people around them. We need to lower the amount of overdoses and keep their loved ones alive.